like those glasses. I like those glasses.
Those are
Elliot.
good glasses. Is that
Blue
is that
blockers.
they're blue blockers. Oh, those are great.
Thank you, man. I've been I got them off Amazon. I believe they were $12.
I love it. I love just going, you know what I like to do? This is one of my secrets.
I love your glasses, Steve. My God.
I love these glasses too. These glasses were these were like it doesn't matter.
I'm sorry.
Because
Okay.
I found them. It doesn't, because I shouldn't even describe where I found these.
Did you find those in a dumpster?
I found them in a dumpster and it was on a dead body.
Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes. I think it starts with your show.
Fellas,
Nice.
listen, have we watched Penguin?
Watched it last night, and I was about to do the dead body segue as well.
Thank you.
Wait, but no spoilers because I haven't watched
spoilers.
it yet, please.
Joe,
Zero spoilers.
What do you think?
It is fucking astounding so far. One
Right.
episode in.
that was one of the best pilots I've ever seen.
Colin Farrell's so good. He's
Amazing.
so good.
Every line.
And you don't think it's Colin Farrell until every once in a while he does this thing with his eyes where he shows so much like soul
Yeah.
and compassion. And you're like, there's Colin. It's
Yep.
so good. If he doesn't
Dude.
win awards for it, I don't.
No, they're in her too. Like, it's amazing. And there's a couple moments where I could hear his voice come through a little bit, like his tone, but that's
Rare.
it.
Rare.
Yeah, and it's like I'm like, did I really hear him, or am I making that up? It was so good. Steve,
Yeah.
what are you working on? What are you hacking
Okay,
into?
so I'm currently booking a room at the Hilton, and I'm trying to get a better deal. Joe, when Joe popped into the chat, hi everybody, welcome to the Valleycast. When Joe popped into the Zoom call, he was doing that face. If you're watching the video,
Yeah.
you can see the face.
Similar to Colin Farrell's amount of hiding behind a disguise, like I don't even see Joe when he does that.
He disappears into that
It's
character.
amazing.
He
Yeah.
did you guys already say this? He disappears into that
Ooh.
character. Colin Farrell. Oh my God.
Dude, that hair is so crazy.
Is that
talk
like?
about him. His headphones are off. Talk about him. Talk about him.
Did you just come out of bed and didn't do a thing to your hair?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like
dog.
I like it. I
But
like
that's
that.
mostly all day.
So anyway, Joe popped in the chat doing that face, and I was like, "What? There's got to be a name for that face. There's got to be a name for it, and I don't know what it is because you know about the smolder when you're smoldering.
Definitely not a smolder.
No, but there is a name for faces like that. Like smolder is a type of face you make.
I landed on cheeky, and Elliot landed on shit-eating grin.
Yeah.
I guess shit-eating grin is maybe it is the
I
shit-eating
think that
grin.
is a shit-eating grin, yeah. But I didn't even say. I said piece of shit, which is different.
That is different.
Well, or you
But
said
shit-eating
little
is
shit.
correct.
You said like little shit. Like the
Yeah,
that's the face a little shit makes. But the shit-eating is there a cleaner version of the shit-eating grin?
It is interesting to take the term shit-eating grin literal, and it really is gross.
Yeah, but when you say when I say like, man, I walked into this store and this woman behind the counter already had a shit-eating grin on her face, then you know exactly what
eat shit.
she looked like. She ate shit and loved it. So I didn't know what to call that face, Elliot, and shit-eating grin is probably the closest. So I decided to ask Chat GPT, our good friend, our co-host, if you will, and I asked it this: is there a name for the type of face you make when you smile cheek to cheek, mouth closed, suck your face in with a double chin, and you squint your eyes? And then I said, it's a silly face. Jim Carrey does it sometimes. And this is what ChatGPT said. There isn't an official name for that specific face, but it's often referred to as scrunch face or
Scrunch face.
or squinch face. Squinch?
Squinch?
I have never how the squinch stole Christmas.
I made my wife squinch in bed last night.
It says it's called often referred to as squinch face in casual language. I don't think so.
I don't think so, Chat GPT. I've never
No,
heard
sir.
that.
I don't believe this
But
bullshit.
I do like squinch. That's pretty good.
It also says Jim Carrey's exaggerated expressions are iconic, and the face you're describing, where you smile with a scrunched up expression, squinting your eyes and exaggerating your cheeks, fits the playful, silly vibe he's known for. No shit.
Thanks, chat.
Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, Chat GPT.
Some might also call it a chipmunk face or a puffer fish face.
Sometimes you just gotta tell it to shut up.
Due to the way the cheeks puff up.
Yeah.
You could also make it says you could also make up your own term for it, like a squish grin or scrunch smile.
Don't tell me to come up with my own term and then give me 2 more terms.
Yeah, that are not good.
Yeah, you can come up with your own, like this or that you didn't come up with.
Yeah.
Okay,
So like you actually stole 2 options that perhaps I might have come up with.
Maybe, but maybe the shit-eating grin has more of like a passive aggressive.
Yeah.
There's certainly more of a passive aggressive intention behind it.
Well, shit-eating grin is, I think, usually connected to mischievousness.
Yeah, or being an asshole or something like that. But Joe, I didn't think you were being an asshole when you did it first thing in our Zoom call.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. I wouldn't say like, well, fuck, maybe it is kind of like a shit-eating grin. So now I'm asking Chat GPT, what about shit-eating grin? Does that fit the description?
The way you're typing sounds like how they used to put my telephone number in at the video store growing up.
Yeah.
All right, let me get your number.
And what's your last name? Yeah. Oh, you have 2 overdue movies. One is called Come.
Nope. I'm 12.
Oh, sorry. You said Joe Beretta?
Beretta.
Oh, Beretta. Bereta. Yeah, you have 4 late movies. One of them's called Cartoon Mouse Sex.
Why do you guys offer that?
Well, we're trying to broaden our horizons. We want to get the kids in here. We want to get the adults in here. Okay, so what about shit-eating grin? Does that fit the description a bit more?
Did you just discover ChatGPT, Steve?
Yes! And it's wonderful.
Have you heard of this?
It's so cool. It'll tell you everything you want to know.
It is incredible.
So it says
It's
a
so
shit-eating
incredible.
grin typically refers to a smug or mischievous smile, often with an undertone of knowing something others don't or having gotten away with something.
That's
I
it.
mean,
It's clearly that.
but it's usually associated with a wide, closed-mouth smile, but not so much the scrunched up, exaggerated face with squinting eyes you're describing. Okay, so shit-eating grin is more like eyes open, like give us
Still
your
just looks
best.
like Sonic, dude. It's
Hi, Elliot. What do you think of? I want your best shit-eating grin. Like you know something.
That's just my smile.
I guess it is just your smile, isn't it? You've been told.
You gotta
have-
go subtle. You gotta be like,
Yeah, see, that's the shit-eating grin.
You condescending son of a bitch. Get out of here.
That's the shit-eating grin.
yeah, that makes me angry to look at.
Okay, all right. So guess what? We get to come up. Let's come up with the name for that face then. And I do think squint. Yeah, that face.
It's
I think
squinch.
I think squinch is like. Let's just say it's a squinch. Let's not call it squinch face.
Squinch.
Yeah, let's say like he squinched, and
That
it was
girl
so.
hit me with a squinch.
Yeah.
It reminds me. That reminds me of when in Hook, when Wendy's like, "Give us a squunch." You know when she says
Does
that.
she say squinch?
She knows when she for a hug, she give us a squunch.
So maybe that. What is squinch a British term?
No, squunch is different than squinch.
Oh, she said squunch.
Squunch. I think.
Apparently, a squinch is a straight or arched structure across an interior angle of a square tower. What?
I love how specific words are sometimes.
I love that everything you
Yeah.
think of is something already.
I love that. Do you guys did the concept of what a weird question I'm about to ask? Do you remember in like grade school, they would be teaching you about history, and for some reason, they thought Gothic architecture was a really important thing to talk about, and they would be like, the keystone is very, very important in architecture. And you're like, I'm reading this in my history book, and you're testing me on keystone? Keystones are fascinating.
But now to this day, I'll be like, that's the keystone. That's the keystone right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you go into
that's a gargoyle, and that's a keystone.
Is that no? Maybe that's limestone.
We spent 3 weeks on keystones. I swear to God.
What grade were you in when that was happening?
Kindergarten. Real weird.
We're gonna teach you about keystone before. Okay, so before we get to the ABCs, I just wanted to say it might be important for you kids to be able to identify keystone.
I think I remember them really focusing on columns from Greek history, and then we learned about the keystone, and then all of a sudden, like, Frank Lloyd Wright happened in the mid 1900s, and I was like, "That's cool. I like Frank Lloyd Wright."
And then the Frank Lloyd Wright. Yeah, go ahead.
I saw this tweet that was like, based on all these broken pieces of pottery, the Greeks were apparently very clumsy.
That's really good.
Elon Musk is funny on that.
And the dinosaurs were messy because they just left their bones everywhere.
Yeah.
Clean up after yourselves.
Clean up your bones, you dummies. We found a way to clean up our bones, and it's a little more environmentally.
They're not bones.
Excuse me?
They're not bones. It's sediment.
The kid.
It's rock that's taken the shape of bones.
Oh.
You mean the stuff left over by dinosaurs?
Yeah, they're not bones.
They're calcified or something?
No, they're not calcified. That's still bones.
Well, what do you mean?
It's just that the rock takes the shape of the bones.
Why?
Because
why would it do that?
That's why there's so few of them, because, well, there's plenty, but there should be more, but there's not, because it's very difficult to get a fossil. It's a long, arduous process, and there has to be a lot of factors that play into it, but they're not real bones.
But why are there so many different ones that are similar? Why is there like a wide variety of these bones, but there are multiple versions within each variety?
Because God planted them there to throw us off, so he would think, we would think that the earth was older, and we would have to have faith in order to believe.
So God is like constantly testing us and tricking us.
Dude,
there's no such thing as bones.
God up in heaven doing this.
So he's squinching. God up there on squinch.
They found another one.
Got him.
Wait, are my bones rocks? Elliot?
What?
Are my bones rocks?
Yeah, Steve, your bones are rocks.
That's why we're heavy.
That's why we don't float away, dude.
Let me ask ChatGPT.
Are my bones rocks?
Are my bones rocks? Wait a minute. I'm going to ask it, are dinosaur bones rocks? Because I'll say this.
Don't.
God, how great would it be if ChatGPT was a flat earther? Oh my God.
Yes, dinosaur bones that we find today are technically rocks.
Whoa.
Over millions of years, the original bone material gets replaced by minerals through a process called mineralization. This means that the organic materials in the bones decay and are replaced with minerals like silica, calcite, or iron.
Iron is got a lot going on right now. There's a lot of international tension.
Yes. I wish there was something we could do.
So that brings us to our foreign affairs part of the podcast.
Oh,
let's
that's
get
right.
up to date on everything.
Chomping at the bit.
Foreign affairs.
Everybody's fighting and throwing bombs at each other. The end.
Throwing what at each other?
Bombs. Dude, holy crap. Jesus, not to really dive into it, but the pager thing is insane.
That was nuts.
Wait, what are you talking about? Is this you don't want to talk about this?
What do you think that would mean, Steve? This is a genuine, this will be fun. What do you think? Are you Googling it?
No, I'm not. I'm asking ChatGPT
based on context.
I'm asking ChatGPT if I should be worried about microplastic. While you guys are talking about whatever you're talking about. Say it again.
Pagers. The pager thing was insane.
Yeah.
Pagers?
Where have you been?
You're saying pagers?
Pagers. Beepers.
Like the
Sorry,
thing that you can...
pagers.
There's news about pagers?
People in other parts of the world use pagers.
Really? Is that true?
Yep.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
And if you wanted to think that, life imitates art, there was a James Bond style attack that where a particular kind of pager was hacked into and kaboomed at the same time.
Oh, it was used as an explosive device?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there is a country far away called Israel.
Heard of it.
And they were going after a group called Hezbollah. And my understanding,
He's that little guy on TikTok that plays. He's like, he's got
little
little
Russian guy,
hands.
yeah. They went kaboom.
You know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, he fights the other little guy.
We tried not to laugh during the foreign affairs part of the show.
Sorry.
We try not to make light of this segment.
It blows my mind that you have not. You do this. You just totally.
I'm sorry.
just
My timeline is filled with stories about Puff Daddy, and I feel like it's a very. I feel like it's a perfect timing. You know.
Have we talked about the Diddy thing?
No, we haven't. And it just gets crazier and fucking crazier.
Oh man, Kevin Hart on video, not good for him.
No, very not good.
No.
At least he wasn't doing anything.
He wasn't doing anything.
There could be a world where he was just like, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah. But the association alone right now is no good.
Right. It'd be like seeing Trump at the Epstein. It'd be like seeing Trump with Epstein.
Right,
Again.
which is crazy, but but that's the only thing we can compare it to,
Well, he's a rascal.
We don't have that, but it's similar to if that happened.
Y'all, did you look up the stuff with? So I went to get a haircut, and I don't know if you guys know.
Looks good, by the way. Looks great.
Thank you. I've been waiting for you guys to say something. My guy who cuts my hair is sometimes into.
Oh, the conspiracy guy. Yeah.
And how sometimes a blind hog finds an acorn or whatever. So the stuff with Bieber is like crazy.
Dude,
have you watched those videos?
I know. Dude, Harley sent me so many links last night.
Really?
When he's like a kid and Puffy's like, we're going to get nuts.
Yeah. And then did you see when he's like patting him down for a wire that more recently? And he's like checking and like Bieber just looks like so sad.
Dude,
I'm like, something went. I was like, that's one of those ones where I'm like, okay, that's a little like creepy as heck.
The thing is like, okay, so the deeper we get into this Diddy stuff, the more it becomes less appropriate to talk about it.
And the deeper you get into it, the more lube you need.
And that is true. And
But
that's a
to be
fact.
To be fair, he was very generous with the lube and the IVs. So I would contend that he was actually a pretty caring sex trafficking.
That's true.
Maniac.
But the thing is like, it's bordering into like horrifying.
Oh yeah.
Like
Bordering.
But right now it's gross and weird, but we're getting into horrifying. You know what I mean?
Suicide watch now.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and that's interesting too, because everyone's like, "Ooh, all the names. This guy's got to know all these names." Ooh, and they're like, "This guy's got to know." I can't wait to hear all the names of people that were associated with this horrible shit. But the thing is like, we're not talking about like Epstein level, like politicians and powerful people.
Maybe. You never know.
I mean, sure, maybe. But more likely it's like, other rappers and music industry folks and, celebrities. Which is like, a celebrity is horrible? Whoa, newsflash.
In 2 weeks, I have jury duty. What if?
Me too.
I just passed mine. I just got through it. I got through it. Yeah. You got that thing in the mail and it was like you have to call have you done this?
Yeah. No, I start on the 7th.
So, but what that means is that you just call. You call every day at either 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. and or something like that.
I've had it before, and I've never had to do it. But last time they did it right when Grace was like finishing up her chemo, and I was like, "Ha ha!"
Yeah.
I was like, "Things. This is awesome." I was like, "I can't do it." And then I was like, "Well, they're never going to contact me again." And then like clockwork, they were like, "You're coming in now."
I remember when you used to go to somewhere and then sit there all day. You guys did that back in the day?
I've never done that.
I did that last time. I've
Really?
This is the third time I've been called. I got picked once, and I was not a good juror. I might have fallen asleep a couple of times.
Wait, you got picked and you were in the courtroom? Mm-hmm. And how long did that go on for?
Couple days.
Well, that's not so bad. But
I
you
did
fell
not.
asleep in the fucking courtroom, and
Yeah.
they were mad at you.
No, they didn't catch me.
Oh, they didn't catch you.
It was kind of like this thing, like.
I mean, they're probably used to that.
Dude, it was
That's
such a
so
boring
funny.
case. Anyways, so there's that. But I tell you what, as somebody that I think has a conscience, when we were in the deliberation process, I was like, ooh, maybe I should not be the one doing this right now. I kind of fell asleep a couple times.
Yeah, because you didn't feel like that was fair to the people on trial that
But
you
it
were
is-
falling asleep.
There is
Prejudiced
a
against
fascinating, like, 12 Angry Man dynamic where I think, Elliot, I actually think you would get off on being in a jury room.
If it was cool, I would love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
Well,
process of doing it.
Yeah, but how do you determine that you can't? It's a roll of the dice. It could be like, a couple
Total
of
roll.
weeks long.
Well, and you said,
even.
Joe, that it was like the defendant was Asian, so you were automatically prejudiced.
It's weird that you knew he was Asian. How did you, what?
Weren't you? Because you were on trial. Elliot was on trial.
Yeah, because it was. That
You don't
man was
remember
Asian.
that?
Always getting confused.
You don't remember?
But anyways, did that, and then I had another one. It was kind of around COVID. I had to go in and sit in like the waiting room with masks and stuff. And if you get called in and you sit there for the day and they don't call your name by the end of that day, you're just let go. And that happened to me that day. Thank
Wait, so
God.
how long ago? So that was just before COVID. So this whole phone call thing is a newer thing.
It's great.
You don't have to go in.
Love it. I fucking love it. And I gotta tell you guys, I really hope the FBI ain't listening to this episode, because I'll tell you So I was like in the jury duty week where you call and you find out, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I don't have to go. Fuck yeah, I don't have to go. And then one morning I forgot to check it that evening, and so you have another chance at like 7 a.m. or something to like check it. I woke up at like 8:40.
Oh no!
And I was like doing my thing. I was making breakfast and I was like, whatever. And then I was like, oh shit! I gotta fucking check if I'm a fucking juror. I call the fucking thing and it
They're
goes,
flipping pancakes.
yeah, dude. I'm like having like a nice little morning. And I call the number and it goes like, you must report to the courthouse at 9 a.m. And I'm like, oh no! I look at my fucking thing. I'm like, how quickly can I get to this fucking courthouse? And it's, of course, downtown LA.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh no. There's no world where I can go to do that. And so I was like, what can I do? I can't just fucking skip out on this shit. It's scary.
Then you're the criminal.
Then I'm the criminal, and they scare you with that shit. They scare you. They go like, well, if you don't fucking go, you could get fined, or you could go to jail. Like, there's all these like,
We might pants you in public. It's crazy.
Yeah, they'll
We'll
call
put-
your mom.
They said they'll put me in the paper as a delinquent in the delinquent column,
Permanent record.
and that goes on your permanent record. I'm a permanent delinquent. Oh, that's a good comedy special name.
Ooh.
Permanent delinquent.
I do like that. That's good.
Anyway, so I was like, I'm like, okay, well, what do? I got to see if I can like reschedule. I called them and I was on hold through 9 a.m. And I'm like, I'm fucked. The cops are coming any minute. They're going to bang down my door. I was like, literally like, this is fucked. And here's where it gets kind of fucked up, guys.
Yeah.
I told them that I had COVID symptoms. And I didn't.
You used COVID to benefit yourself personally?
And I lied to the government.
Again.
Again. And I can't stop lying to the government.
When has the government ever lied to you?
I know. I don't try to make me feel any worse than I already do,
Fair
Elliot.
enough. Fair enough.
I feel horrible about it. I feel really bad. I feel un-American
I think you should call government and say you're
and
sorry.
apologize. Could you imagine trying to get a hold of somebody? It's someone who's like, it's all these like government jobs. Whenever, like, because do you consider the DMV like a government job, or like is that like a
Yes.
city job?
I mean, city government.
City government, like all these city government jobs where you have to talk to somebody, they all sound like they're ready to die. Don't you think? Like I talked to that person on the phone at the courthouse, and I was like, they're like, what is your purpose for this call? And I'm like, yeah, just for jury duty. And I had I did the thing. Yeah, it's for jury duty. And like, you know, they hear it 1 billion times a day. Some fucking like, but obviously, you know, some of these are like housewives with holding 3 kids, and they're like, I have COVID. Shut up, Aiden. I'm fucking on the phone. Like they, you know what I mean? Like there's people who have a real reason to not go, and I just slept in a little bit, and so I'm like, I feel sick, and they're like, okay, we're rescheduling. Like they sound like the most miserable people.
Because they are. That job would suck.
I know, it makes me so sad.
Like imagine you were like probably a perfect phone call, and everybody else that they talk to is probably the worst person.
I know. I try to be. Do you guys ever consciously try to be the one phone call that isn't a piece of shit phone call when you have to call these people?
Nope, don't care.
I
Deal
do
with my shit.
And by the way, you're really wasting our time here. We're in the foreign affairs portion of the podcast, and what are we talking about? We're talking about being nice to service people. Boring.
Okay, can we? I need to talk to you about.
Let's
something.
pivot. Let's pivot into microplastics.
It's related a little. It's not foreign affairs necessarily. It is national affairs. Are you aware, Steve? Since you were unaware of the pager thing,
Yes, I
and
was.
I think it's fun to bestow upon you news
Horrible
that Joe and I
information.
are aware of, that maybe you haven't, to see your reaction. Now, are you familiar with the Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina, Mark Robinson?
Well, yeah, absolutely. He's one of my favorite governors.
Okay, well, he recently came online and was found to have said that he's a proud black Nazi. All right, now
I gotta go. I gotta go because I actually donated a lot of money to that guy.
Steve,
Hold
gotta
on,
go, guys. Just
Can we
tangles and
stop that check?
wires.
Can we stop that check? Can we stop that check? Oh shit! I got my fucking phone. Fuck. Hello, 911. I donated money to a bad man.
Steve, can I read you one of the comments? So CNN found some comments from this guy. He used the same screen name on every website, porn websites. He is a collector of Nazi dolls.
What the fuck?
His screen name is Mini Soldier. And they use this they attached to the same email address. Can I read you? This is going to get graphic, folks. So if you have children in the room, can I read you one of the posts that he made?
Posts where? Like on Twitter or something?
On Black Africa. Where else, dude?
What? Is that a web? I'm not on that social media site.
Well, you are now. Here we go.
Okay.
Had me another hot morning with the wife's sister. By the way, this guy's running for governor. She brought along her laptop this time, and we watched some vids here on NA. NA is it's something Africa. I forget what it. Anyway, the one that really got us hot was called Wet Anal. That vid got her. I'm going to bleep some of this because I feel uncomfortable saying it. That vid got her pee soaking wet, and y'all know what I did, right? That butt was wet, slick, and good, and this is the tough one, pissy. And I licked and sucked the. Then she asked my D till it was good and hard, and then something, lubed it, and then she laid back while I greased the a-hole with her pee and wet, watching my big D slide. And this is the sentence I wanted you to hear, Steve.
Okay.
This is the one. Right when I was really pumping the dookie shoot good, she shot a long hot stream of piss up in the air that covered my chest and stomach. What do you think about that, Steve?
Vote for me.
I mean, hang on. Let's not cancel the check yet. You know what's interesting, Elliot, is
Dookie shoot.
while you were reading that to me, I did recall that a friend of mine also sent me a screenshot of something very similar from that governor. I didn't know their name, but my friend Jesse said this guy's running for governor of my state, and then showed me he sent me a link.
That just turned into Pee Wee's house.
I know. I'm sorry. I can't do it. He sent me a link that was a screen grab from 4chan or something.
Yeah.
And it's very similar. It says, this is this guy that's running for governor. This guy is a politician.
Yeah.
This is a politician. And he says, the piss thing is more common than most people think and many want to admit. I have an FB that loves to lay on her stomach, spread open her ass, and have me piss all over her asshole and pussy.
Vote for me.
The longer and hotter the stream, the more she loves it.
The funniest thing is him denying it. Have you seen that, Joe? That is so funny. And the North Carolina Republican Party being like, our man's not leaving. This is an unbelievable attack on him. We cannot believe it. We deny these allegations. And they're like, it's just your emails attached.
I'm starting to believe that these people who just blindly support subhuman people are subhuman themselves. It's hard to.
Power is an
power is
addictive thing,
scary.
man.
Yeah, but isn't it crazy that it's and look, this might not be all of the people that support this type of government official, because I'll give some of these folks the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe they just aren't seeing that stuff. They're not seeing the controversial stuff, and they're just kind of seeing the they align with my beliefs, and so I'm going to just blindly follow them. But when you get into the disgusting, this isn't someone I want, look, I'm not one to kink shame. But if someone's into piss and they're in the government, maybe it doesn't leak into the job, maybe it doesn't.
I don't care about that. When you have a governor who says he wants to bring slavery back, I think that might be.
That's the bigger deal.
Yes.
I think his quote was, maybe we need to bring it. It was good for some people. I think we need to bring it back.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm fascinated by the brazen confidence, ignorant confidence of so many of these people. It's go ahead, piss on everything that you want. I don't care.
As long as it's consensual.
But as soon as you start putting this shit in writing, whether it's text, whether it's email, whether it's on a site that you think nobody's going to touch, it automatically makes it weird for 95% of people. And you don't leave the paper trail. Go piss on everything, but you don't need to write it, because as soon as you do, most of the people are going to think you're weird. And then you're fucked.
Kink neutrality is something we need to really be pushing for. I'm not going to kink shame, but I'm not going to kink praise. I'm kink neutral. Kink neutrality is where you go, I don't want to
like TMI. Some things are TMI.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of that, Elliot, because I will kink praise when people do it right and find people like themselves and finally are able to be themselves in a sexual way with a partner. That's a beautiful thing, if it's safe and isn't hurting anybody. But then there's some stuff where it's it was Bob Odenkirk. Everyone was freaking out because Bob Odenkirk liked a tweet about a foot fetish, a foot fetish tweet. That was some dirty perv shit. And everyone was oh boy, Bob Odenkirk, he likes feet. And it's do I give a shit? Does that change any fucking thing? So I'm with you on the
I didn't know he liked feet.
I'm sorry I ruined that. Did I ruin him for you?
I'm never
more
watching Breaking Bad.
Mr. Toe.
What's up? What's up? Mr.
Just don't put her like you're gonna go for your governorship. You're a fucking power hungry you're gonna not put yourself in a pretty good situation when you're when you're just describing Dookie shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
It ain't gonna do well.
Anyway, this
for you.
concludes the foreign affairs part of the show. Thanks.
How do we fix this sick and ill country, Elliot? How do we fix it? Where do we
I've been
start?
waiting for this. Well, I think everyone should start, including you, Steve, by watching Penguin. Because I texted you, and I was trying so hard to not express how much I loved it. I was like trying to downplay it, and I was like, I really liked it. It's good. And I was like slowly waiting for you to watch it because I didn't want to hype it up too much. But I'm glad that you liked it.
I appreciate not hyping it up too much because that is a thing for sure.
Then I'm going to say in this new wave 2010 plus of DC content, because Dark Knight, we all know, it's like top 3 with like Peacemaker, The Good Suicide Squad, and this is like the first super dark adaptation of one of the things that is in the movie that I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Does it make you a little sad there's no Batman?
In it?
Yeah.
No. All I care about is Penguin.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing like a signal. Like
a signal would be nice.
But I they don't have to. I like the little fan service, but
it's okay.
It doesn't bother me because he is unbelievable.
I mean, he's incredible.
She is unbelievable.
He's incredible.
She's incredible. Good too. Yeah.
Who's she? Who's in it? Is Zoe Kravitz in it?
Christina Milioti.
Oh, okay.
From How I Met My Memo.
Is Zoe Kravitz in it though, or no?
No. No, it's just those two, and they're so good.
You know the Star Trek episode of Black Mirror, Steve? That girl with the big eyes. She had the biggest eyes that you've ever seen. If you just imagine eyes,
it's amazing that they're still big. How are they
bigger
still that
eyes
big?
than the girl from the Fallout show?
Yes.
I need to know.
You'll recognize her.
Okay, but she's in Penguin.
She's the mom from How I Met Your Mother.
Have you guys watched Agatha Alala?
No. Is it good? It looks like it's got a good aesthetic.
Yeah. I have not, but I heard that it's very gay, which isn't a bad thing. Excuse me.
He said it.
I'm just repeating what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it's very gay, which isn't a bad thing. And I love Aubrey Plaza, so maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know. I'm really enjoying the Rings of Power show right now.
Good.
So cool. You guys might be watching Penguin, but I'm over here watching Ring of Power. I'm watching Lord of the Rings. I'm watching elves argue about where Sauron is. Where is he? They're looking.
I watched Fall Guy.
It's a fun little flick.
Is that the Ryan Reynolds? Oh no, that's Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. Yeah,
I heard decent things.
It feels like a 1990s kind of like action, tongue-in-cheek, True Lies meets like Last Action Hero type affair.
Oh, that's nice. I love Ryan Gosling. I'll pretty much watch him in anything, I feel like.
Yeah, dude. He's tight.
Yeah,
I really love him. I do love him.
Are you guys worried about Joaquin Phoenix?
Worried about him?
Yeah, are you worried about him?
Is he hanging out with that governor?
Well, no, he's just he bailed on a movie project recently that was causing a lot of buzz in the industry because this movie was kind of a passion project of a lot of folks, and he bailed out on the last minute, and then everyone was like, what's up with that? And then all these stories about him bailing on full movies came out. Like he was going to be in Split. You know that movie Split, that M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And it was like 2 weeks before they were shooting, and then they were like, Joaquin Phoenix just dropped out. He's gone.
Walking out. Yeah, walking out.
Yeah, walking out.
That's real good.
Yeah. Are you worried about Joaquin Phoenix?
I've had 2 responses. No, I'm not worried about him at all. He's fine.
You're a little quiet, Joe.
I'm not worried about him. He's fine. I have two responses to that, or I had two responses to reading it. One was good for him. I like a person that's like, you know what? This isn't for me. I'm just going to walk away. But then I was like, that sucks because so many jobs are connected.
It fucked over a lot of people.
So many jobs are connected to him being committed to those projects, and I don't know how many have been like just shut down because he dropped out or whatever. But
Yeah, well, this particular one that he dropped out of recently was real bad because, it's hundreds of jobs that are now not a job, and they're like, hey, this is a rich guy that's fucking over a lot of people that need these jobs to survive, and I'm hearing that there might be some mental health issues, which are always a sensitive thing and something to consider when these things happen. And I don't know if you know this, but Joaquin Phoenix like basically grew up in a cult, and he watched his brother die out on the sidewalk in front of a bunch of people, and so he's had like kind of a crazy life. So I kind of give him a pass in some ways and say like I get it, but like but also like maybe don't be an actor anymore then.
yeah.
But I am gonna see the Joker movie. Comes out like next week or some shit.
Yeah, I'm seeing it on the 4th. I think it's like the day.
Yeah, are you
Open.
excited about that? I'm kind of excited.
I'm excited. I hope it's good. I mean, I liked the first one, and then it became so memed that I was like, I guess I don't like it. And then I started watching it by myself one time again, and I was like, I don't want to watch this again at all.
Yeah, because it's not pleasant. It's
I
a
think
good
it's
movie.
like a one-time. Yeah, like I'll watch it once, and I'll go, okay.
I agree with that.
I personally have not been enthralled by the trailers.
Me neither.
But yeah, I mean, but that's fine. Like, trailers are trailers. Sometimes they're not great. Sometimes it does not really an accurate representation of what the movie will be like. And you keep hearing that it's a musical, and Hollywood keeps like not wanting to advertise movies as musicals for some reason because maybe it makes them not make money or something.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I like Lady Gaga. I'm just gonna say it. I like her. I think she's great. She's a good artist. She's a good actor. And I like. What's that?
This is Foreign Affairs magazine for people who want to know more about what we've been talking about today.
You were really excited to rip that open.
Yeah, it was. It felt good. It was one of those really nice.
Are you excited to dig into that?
This is the July. Does America need a new foreign policy? And there is
just
an article,
one foreign policy.
a new
Just
one.
one
Yeah.
new one, yeah.
The real rules of international relations. You'll find practical men who believe themselves to be quite exempt from any intellectual influences are usually the slaves of some defunct economist, and that's obviously John Maynard Keynes. And that was over a century ago. And that's
Obviously.
Wait, can you open up a random page, like somewhere in the middle of that, and just give it a whiff and describe the smell?
Actually, whoa, that is nice. That is like an old library from from childhood.
That's nice, because that was sealed up. So you've got the goodness was sealed right in.
And it's safety amid chaos.
Do you guys want to hang out next weekend and just smell some books together?
Yeah. We haven't done that since like 2019.
It's been a long time.
Maybe piss on them.
Wow, I mean, I might have to leave before that happens. I don't I don't follow that.
No, it was good to connect. We pissed on some books. It was nice.
Elliot, are you subscribed to that magazine?
I was for a second because I was trying to learn more about this, and then I was like, I'm not smart enough. There was a couple articles I liked in one of them, and then I committed to it because I like getting magazines.
I know, isn't it? Magazines are nice.
Yeah, it's a little treat.
I'm surprised magazines are still a thing.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I thought like I loved getting Mad magazine, obviously, and like movie magazines and nerdy shit. But I remember there was like Mad magazine like went bankrupt or went away and it doesn't exist anymore. And then the other day I was in the grocery store and saw it magazine.
It exists.
What's going on? It's just back.
I don't know, but I'm glad. I remember. I really, really, really enjoyed reading Wizard magazine back in the day. Really sad that that's gone, as well as, just, being a teenager. I loved like the Maxims of the world.
Yeah.
And GQ. And I honestly wanted to I thought being a magazine feature writer for one of those like kind of fun publications would have been awesome.
For sure.
The job I really wanted. Yep.
Guys, final note. I'm on my last day of Raw Dog Week, where Grace and I have not had any alcohol or weed.
Okay.
I have not had for
Whoa.
the first time. I stopped weed for the first time in a while,
Whoa.
and
Fully cold
yeah,
turkey.
cold turkey. And I gotta tell you, very surprised by the positive side and the negative side. And so I think I'm gonna not do weed for a little bit and keep that going. I'm gonna,
What's the positive?
the positive is immediate clarity, motivation. Night times are so much better. Sleep is slowly getting better, but the insomnia, I had night sweats, chills, all sorts of stuff. Mostly, I believe, from the weed, and it
Wow. Like
Huh.
you think coming down off of it a little bit in a
yeah,
way.
has been very interesting.
And
So
the alcohol's coming back though?
yeah, I'll probably do a little bit, but because I'm gonna go out tonight with Mike Falzone. You guys ever you know
I've
who
heard
that
of
is?
him.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
He's
thought
that
he was
comedian.
dead.
we're getting dinner at that actually Valley Inn. We're going.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
like they're texting right now. Zoe was like, "We're gonna wear sweatpants and a sweatbands for
Oh,
dress up
good.
as old people."
Good. That's the move.
But yeah, really wild. Like the effect of no desire to do any of them, but the quitting of the weed was very nice.
What's
Was
the
there
negative?
was there a conscious? Oh yeah, give us the negative. What's the negative?
Just the slight like chills in the beginning, and then a little bit of anxiety for a couple days, but like really nothing bad. It was just like, oh, interesting, and it kind of was a reminder of like, oh yeah, don't do that, because we were like, oh yeah, we're doing this. This is too much because we were doing weed too much. You ever do weed too much, Steve?
Oh yeah, yeah, yes, yes, Elliot, yes. The answer is yes. I have. I have some questions. Was there a conscious decision to eliminate both of those things, and then was it conscious for it to be both, and then was it a conscious decision to say one or the other?
Just kind of decided to do both. Didn't really discuss it at all.
Okay.
We're like,
You pulled a me.
yeah,
But you're coming back to alcohol, which means that is that a decision that is like, okay, well, there's one that should be an every once in a while kind of thing, and the other thing can be a never again kind of thing. Was that the
something like that. I'll do weed again too. I think both will just be like way less because it's just
super
been
cut back?
yeah. The motivation side was the most surprising thing with the weed of being like, oh, I can just like for dissertation stuff. I'm like in a crunch zone right now, so it was like, oh, I can get so much done all of a sudden.
Well, let me write this
And I was
down.
like, I told Grace, I was like, I think if I stop doing weed, I can have my dissertation done in like 3 weeks. So,
Did you know that the other, like DARE, the program, it also stands for dissertations are really easy?
When
people don't know
sober,
who knew?
that's crazy. That is crazy.
Just don't do drugs. They're really easy.
But I like the idea of like a dry week.
Detox,
And then a decision to either lessen the usage or the decision to cut one out or
it's
leave
nice.
one in or whatever. That's nice.
It was
know,
like, oh,
you're-
I get to know myself. Like, oh, this is a good thing.
You're accidentally segueing into something that I was going to ask you guys at the top of the podcast that we could have talked about probably for a whole podcast. But then I was like, nah, we don't need to. This is a lighthearted podcast. But I'm going to do it anyways. Now that you're giving me this serve, now we're going to bump and set and spike and all that. I wanted to do a midlife crisis check-in with you boys. Midlife crisis check-in. Where are your brains at? Where are you? Because Steve and I shot a podcast earlier this week at React. He came in and was a guest, and we were kind of catching up afterwards and just kind of like, oh, we're all different people now.
Yeah.
And we're on the cusp of being different people. Like, where are we at, boys? Where's your mind at? Like, what are you doing next? What do you want to do? Like, where are you at?
Well, I'd like to become governor, the governor.
You wrote way too much stuff online.
I need to. I'm having it erased right now.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Like, Steve, I'm going to kick you off. We were talking
Okay.
about like the the concept of maybe not knowing what you want to do, but
Yeah.
you're on the cusp of maybe diving into voiceover and stuff like that, and there's many reasons for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, we're creatives and we're funny boys and we can't help but want to create in some way or be entertainers in some way and entertain in some way. And so I always use that doorway visualization, the doors, like there's all these different doors and and I could open one door and go in and fully immerse myself into that one thing. But there's like those other doors that have other things I could fully immerse myself in that could be even more fulfilling and fun. And so I'm like stuck staring at these doors and wondering which one I should open and go inside. And, every day I struggle with which one I should go into and which
Door
one.
paralyzation.
It is. It absolutely it is. And so, there's just kind of like this. I just feel like I'm in this time of like dealing with trauma and depression and world horrible shit and people around you getting older, your loved ones getting older, and the mortality feeling comes creeping up on you, and so you're like, fuck, I have one last good go in me to try to find some sort of outlet for my need to entertain, or I could just, keep doing these things that kind of like keep me afloat, that are satisfying in a creative way, in their own way, and focus on my personal life or something, so it's like, it's kind of like a big up in the air, I'm unsure of where I'm at kind of thing.
That young person ignorance or energy or motivation to just kick in one of those fucking doors.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
a harder energy to harness now. I know exactly what you're talking about, because back in the day you would have just probably knocked down 3 of them.
Yeah, and I'd go into one and be there for a month or 2 or 3 and then come out and go into a different one, but now you don't really have that. And back then there was like infinite doors, and now there's like 3. And so I'm like, which one of these 3 should I? And so I'm trying to narrow it down to one door that feels the most confident. And Joe and I were talking about the voiceover stuff. And so that kind of piques my interest, because I could live anywhere in the world if I did that. And, there's a lot of options in that world. So that's kind of where I'm at.
And we were both talking about, like, and I feel this as well, like we've spent the last 20 years being creators that are like, we're our own brand at the same time. Like our face has always been part of it, and our personality has always been part of the product. And I think after a while that starts to weigh on you. So if there is a door that you can kick down that allows you to be creative, but then like let it be more about the creation as opposed to yourself, and voiceover could 100% be one of those, for sure.
Oh, for sure. It's just all about kicking that fucking door down and being like, all right, this is it. Because, I need to use this energy, this last bit of energy in my midlife that I have to like really get in on something, What's
crazy is that your doors are still infinite. And what sucks is that you're putting so much pressure on the 3 doors. You're like, oh God, there's only one of 3 doors, and this is going to be the last one. That's not the case. It's not true. I'm not your therapist, but 100% your doors are still infinite. But I also understand the pressure that you're putting on yourself, because I do the same thing.
For sure. It's actually kind of more like it feels better to have 3 doors than like 100 million or whatever, because it's like it feels easier to focus in on like something a little more, because you got to be realistic too. Like one of those doors was like, if I was 10 years younger, realistically maybe that would work, but now that I'm a little older, it's like, well, I'm not going to be the face of like a toy brand, or I'm not going to be a toy review guy, in my older years, because no one really wants to see that. That's not where the money is. It's all these 5-year-olds ripping open toys and making movies now. There's a toy review movie out. Did you guys know that?
Is that Ryan?
I was
Yes.
Ryan. Yeah.
I was in Sherman Oaks the other day near the office for a doctor's appointment, and it made me like so nostalgic for Valleyfolk. I mean, really like sad almost.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that was so cool. Like it was very obviously a lot of bad.
Good and bad.
But it was like a different era. I was like, oh, this is a different era now. Like this is that was a time ago. Really crazy. And then I was thinking about all the things that have happened and all the good and all the bad. And it's really wild. Like the kind of just like accumulation of life. And then you're like, oh man, I have all of these like experiences. Now what do I do with it? Pretty cool.
What?
Yeah, that's the thing, Elliot. It's like it really is like you have a lot of things that you've learned over the years, and how can you implement those things into a new thing?
Yep.
You know, it's exciting and scary and disheartening and all of that.
You can also take all of those experiences and knowledge that you've gotten over the years, and we're also at the age, and I take this very seriously, where whenever I have a job, is you can provide that experience. You guys are walking services at this point. Like that experience can be parlayed into maybe not a job or whatever, but you are able to help other people and provide them some sage advice because of all of those experiences. And I think sometimes we forget that that at this point we're also educators as well as creators and et cetera, et cetera.
Actually, I think that's a perfect opportunity for me to promote my master class on farting. And if you want to join it's masterclass.com/fart.
So amazing. You should see if you can do that. Elliot, where's your brain? Where's your brain, Elliot? Where's your brain?
Same big. I think right on board with what Steve said. Like very similar. I think it's there's doors, and it's kind of like the future is very ambiguous, and I get a little worried about it. I get a little stressed, which I think makes decision making even harder. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm on a crisis mode, but I also think there's a sense of kind of keeping everything. There's a little bit of like a fear of parents dying, fear of financial ruin, fear of what's going out on the world, and then fear of putting myself out there again. So it's a lot of fear-based stuff, a lot of adult stuff, and then going, I don't want to 10 years from now go like, why did I stop doing what I loved, or why did I decide that I couldn't do it anymore because I bought the lie that I'm somehow too old or out of it, which I think is a myth
or not
that
worthy.
we kind of tell ourselves. Yeah.
Like I'm probably projecting on you a little bit, but are you at a crossroads kind of with, are you going to go the philosophy education route or the entertainment route? Like, are you seeing those diverge completely?
Not diverge completely. The whole idea of always doing it was like I wanted to be able to have something to offer that side. I wanted it to be like intertwined, but what that looks like is very different from what do I need to do to make a living and make sure that I'm paying off this shit. So, but yeah, I mean, it is like crossroads for sure. It's like I could go do that, but it's that too is like, is that really where I feel drawn to, or do I feel drawn to this other fun world, and why can't I do both at the same time?
There's probably an imposter syndrome with both of them.
Well,
always. I'm about to go do a podcast at the C.G. Jung Institute of LA for an academic journal that started a podcast about my peer-reviewed article on UFOs.
Cool.
I was like, I was in the shower. I was in the shower and I was like, this is different. Life's different now. That's pretty fun. And so I'm like doing all this reading on like the different stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is a funny, but they're also going to ask about, like, they sent the questions ahead and they're going to ask about internet stuff and like how I got here. And it's like, I was like, well, how do I answer that? Like, this thing happened and then this happened and now I'm here. So,
and is there a way to summarize it in a way that's interesting? It doesn't leave out important information that might help people that want to do something similar.
Well, first it was called 20 minutes or less, and then it was source fed, but the whole time it was always dun 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 dun.
And then they changed it dun dun dun, and that's when I was like, I'm out.
And honestly, I think the show peaked when Curb Cash ended. That's really when the show fucked up, Yep. Remember Curb Cash?
That dude's
what
the
if
nicest
that's the
guy.
one that we brought back? All right. Thanks, everybody.
Well, guys, thank you so much.
Good question. Oh, wait. Oh. Joe, where are you?
Oh, yeah. Where are you, buddy?
I think I'm at the place where you guys have seen me always. I feel all of the things that you guys are feeling, all those fears, Elliot, for sure. We're at the age now where, and we've all experienced it recently in a public forum. I've been experiencing it for fucking 10 plus years. Sickness is a real thing, and it starts to invade your life when you're older. Parents passing. A lot of like friends' parents have passed. Like I've been dealing with mortality a lot in that sense. There is that feeling of, am I too old? And then I'm like, no, I'm not too old. I'm good.
Yeah.
Maybe some of my future bosses, if I have them, will be younger than me. That's something I got to get used to, as well
Yeah,
as
right.
doctors being younger than me and lawyers. Like that's a
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
that's a weird thing to deal with. There's changes that I want to make. I have not been able to pinpoint what they are because I never have been. I've never been able to go out. I know what I want to be when I grow up. But I'm constantly dealing with how can I effectively take risks that I know would be advantageous in the long run, but wouldn't torpedo my life situation with, taking care of my family. And that makes it very, very hard sometimes and leads to some depression for sure. So yeah, I'm kind of on the cusp of like, what's next, what's now. But I do know that whatever I'm doing in regards to being at a job, especially in the creative industry, it's less about the content and all that and the creativity and more about the people. I just want to make sure that we're creating an environment that is uplifting and empathetic and understanding, and the content kind of comes secondary to me at this point.
Nice.
Whether that's good or
awesome,
bad.
Joe. Yeah, there's too
Very
many
adult.
places where people work and they're like, yeah, we make good shit, but I'm fucking miserable in the ecosystem. And if you're trying in some way to make the ecosystem a little less shitty, because you don't want people to come into their jobs and be like, I don't want to be here. And if you're in charge of like helping people not feel that way, then that's a good usage of time, I think.
I think I'm also trying to harness and find confidence in my experience and be okay with being a voice of authority in what we've done for a long time, which I've never been comfortable with. I don't like pretending like I know everything. I don't like sitting on a pedestal. Like everybody's like, you guys should write articles on LinkedIn. And I'm like, I just don't.
Yeah.
But maybe I
There's a
should try doing that. Like,
There's a difference between that though and just knowing, standing firm in what you know. And my old therapist, my ex-therapist, used to say just filling out the suit and being like, I know what I'm talking about, and it's okay to just know what you're talking about in a non-arrogant way.
Yeah. And then I think
I think
finally,
you do know. I think you do that all the
Yeah,
time.
I think there's a lot of things that certainly you know what you're talking about, and I think people know your history in the industry, and that goes a long way. People are like, I need to listen to what this guy has to say. He's been in a lot of different businesses in this industry and knows some shit. So
owning
I
it.
think that should feel like something you've earned because of your age and what you've been through. That should help in that sense, I think. But yeah, there's that feeling of like, I don't belong in this role because someone else is more qualified for this, is like a feeling that will never go away. We're like going to be 60 and be like, I don't belong in this industry. And it's
I
like,
know, right? And then I think what I'm super lacking, but have yet to find a way to find the time to do it, at least in a more than the realm that I'm already doing with family and stuff, is I want to find what is my service role. Like, I think that is something that I'm lacking. Like, how am I giving back? How can I give my time somewhere with a limited amount that it is? And I'm trying to find a path for that because I think it'll lead to a little bit more harmony in my soul.
well, that's awesome, Joe. And I think that's a great little summary on what, where we are in our lives in a short summary at all, in any way. But
we can
yeah.
keep talking about this. It's fun to talk about this stuff because it is. We talk funny, haha, but this is nice. We can do this next week.
It's real. Yeah,
we'll
we could
forget.
talk more about it. Yeah, maybe we'll have Kevin here and we'll see how he's doing. Kevin
Anyways, that was
died
fun.
3 weeks ago.
Thank you. Thank you guys for indulging me on that.
Yeah,
great.
Joe, that's a good conversation, good topic, and it's good to like get your brain in that zone because it's so easy to be on autopilot and be like, I know what my days are, and I'm just sticking to what my days are. But if you get the brain going into the like, but where are you right now, and where and how do you find a better place? That's a good thing to get your brain thinking about, I think.
And
On
Kicking
top
some
of the
doors.
monotony.
And to end this on a fun note, let's all do. I'll start our best penguin impression. Hey, it's me. I'm the penguin. All right.
That's pretty good. Joe?
Hey, look at me. I'm a penguin.
Hey, the
Okay,
penguin. Oh, that's
how about
good.
this? Give me a pizza. I'm the penguin.
That's the best one. He didn't even
His
see
walk might be pretty, like, one of the best things he's doing as well in the show. It's really good.
Oh, he's got a little limp? That's great.
He walks like a
Is
penguin.
he a penguin or is that a spoiler?
We won't tell you what he shows you in the first episode.
I hope it's webbed toes or something.
Goodbye.
Everyone do your best squinch.